Yeah. And I can describe now G. The first note of G, the second note of G, major scale, third note of G major scale, fourth note, etc. This is the reference point. Okay, coming back to the original question, what is the difference between a major and a minor chord? Here we are. If I use E as a starting point, here we go. This is the major scale in E, yeah? If I take the first note, then I take the second note. I forget the second note, sorry. I take the third note. I forget the fourth note. I take the fifth note. I only play the first, the third, and the fifth notes. I could play them separately and they form a tune, okay? Or I could play all these notes together. I just find a place to play the first note. I look for an E. Okay, a place to find the third note, a place to play the fifth note, and I play all of these notes together. Three notes together. This is called the major chord. The major chord is when you play the first note, the third note, and the fifth note of whatever is your reference point in that major scale. So you're going to say Raggy, but you just played six strings on the guitar. I'm telling you, this is an E major chord, and the E major chord only contains three notes. It contains the first note, the third note, and the fifth note. So what's going on here? What form of fakery is there where I'm playing six strings, but I'm saying there are only three notes? If I analyze the notes, I've got an E here, I've got a B, I've got another E. What do I have here now? I've got a G sharp here. Then I've got a B and I've got an E. So I've got a few repeating E's. I've got one, two, three E's there. I've got two B's, one here and one an open string, and I've got a G sharp. So there are actually only three notes involved in all of this: an E, a G sharp, and a B. So some notes were doubled and repeated, you see. So what is the E minor chord? The E minor chord occurs where you take, instead of 1, 3, 5, is you take the 3 and you reduce it by half a step. In music, these guys always come up with all sorts of fancy, complicated words to describe things. I would have just said, just reduce the third note by half a step. But what can I say, yeah? Organized music is as such. And so they say flatten the third note. So play the first note. Instead of the third note, you play flatten the third note. Flatten means to reduce by half a step. That means, in other words, one fret on the guitar down. And so you got 1, 3, 5 for a major chord and 1 flat 3, 5 for a minor chord. Listen to this. This is the sound of a major, three notes of a major chord, yeah? And I'm not even going to use technical terms. And for the minor, this is the minor. The minor sounds gentler, doesn't it? And if you play the three notes of the major together, you get this. If you play the three notes of the minor together, it's getting a bit gentler. So, folks, this is the difference between a major chord and a minor chord. In a major chord, the notes that are used from whatever the chord name, from its reference scale, in other words, from its major scale, you're using the first, the third, and the fifth notes. They often call this chord spellings. A major chord is spelled 1, 3, 5. And for a minor chord, the third is reduced by half a step or one fret on the guitar, or flattened if you want to use the correct term. And so a minor chord is 1, flat 3, and 5. So when you were playing E minor, you were playing 1 flat 3, 5 on the E and 1 3 5 on the A, which is why your minor chord sounded a bit sweeter. There's a flat 3 going on. A bit later on, when we do other songs, uh, I don't need to explain the major scale to you again. I just can give you the chord spellings. And as you learn how to play songs, be mindful of the chords that you are playing and be mindful of what they sound like, because I'll explain to you, in a future lesson, how chords bring about feelings, and that knowing the chord that we are playing, and understanding, the feeling that we want to generate makes a lot of sense when you're playing in a band or when you want to sing. For example, now this is not the lesson for today, but just to give you an idea, if I played a D chord, then I played another kind of a D chord. Look at that. This is now becoming so very more gentle. And then I played another kind of a D chord. And all these were actually, there was no D minor involved in this. There were different kinds of D major. This is a D major. Do, 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 do. And then another kind of a D major. Do, 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 do. Ooh, this is so gentle, yeah, so delicate, isn't it? And then this is a D dominant 7. It's a bit more dominating, and it seems to be pointing to go somewhere. So if I had a song with just D chords, then I could go to another chord. And these are all different majors going on, but now I was in a G major. But from a G major, I want to go really, really gentle and really sweet. Now I've done so many different kinds of major chords already. I want to just change the flavor, and I go to a minor. From the G major, I go to do. I go back to my original chord. Now I'm not teaching you these chords. I'm just trying to give you an idea that it's important to understand where these chords are coming from, because they all create different kinds of feelings. So if you want to play a song and if you want to have a certain kind of feeling at that point in the song, if you knew your chords and you knew which chords are gentle, which chords are sort of like harsh, which chords are subtle, which chords are sweet, you will know what chord to put there, or you have a good idea what chord to put there in. Like, so now I'm just going to do a song with like a D and G's and G's, but I'm going to do D, D major 7, D7, or sometimes called the dominant 7, and then I go to a G major, G minor, G minor goes back to the D major, do 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 do. Ah, if you're just curious as to how long will it take to be able to move into chords like that, I think maybe by the third or fourth lesson, seriously, if you just bear in mind what I just told you. This first lesson is like a long, lengthy piece, because we talked about choosing a guitar tuners, guitar strings, and all that, and I needed to explain what the major scale, excuse me, is about. So there's a lot of talking. But in actual essence, if you can absorb this, chances are if you go to any other site and they are explaining things about music or guitaring and stuff like that, you can understand more. But when we go into the next guitar lesson, I don't have to repeat some things in such a long, meandering kind of a way. We can just go straight down into what we need to do. But every guitar lesson that I give should contain like some chords to play that give you an idea of a strumming pattern or a groove pattern to play in it. And then for every new chord that is introduced, I should explain the background theory structure for it, Like today, I explained to you what a minor chord and a major chord is. And within a few lessons, you'll be able to have, I would think, a fairly good grasp of how to use chords in your playing, very important for rhythm guitarists. And even if you want to be a guitarist who plays a lot of guitar solos, you have to have a good grounding knowledge of guitar chords because the chords all begin to sound different, they have different feels. Then when you are playing your guitar solo, you can know in which direction you want to move your solos, and you can know which are the important notes to play to give your solos a certain kinds of feels. Yeah, I think that's about all for now. I probably have to edit this video a bit to reduce its length, but at the same time, if I if I structured it and put it into like chapters, you might be able to bear with it or just hop to the sections that help you. Yeah, and I would appreciate any comments that you have. If you have problems and difficulties in understanding anything that I said, you can drop me a comment. Or I'm also live a few times a week in my Twitch channel. You can just drop into my Twitch channel and say hi. You watch my video and you want me to clarify a certain point, and I'll just do it. I'll clarify the point live in there. Uh, what do I ask for you in return? I'll just watch the video and then okay, if you really want to help me, you can subscribe to the channel or click a like on the video. That uh, probably helps me a bit. And you can even join in a so-called membership kind of thingy in my channel. Though to be honest with you, the channel is like how do I put it? Yeah, it's not really generating any income. So you know, I'm happy for just people to watch in. But if you do want um, to join in as a membership, and maybe hey, in future I'll be able to afford a jet airplane or something like that. Thank you so very much. Meanwhile, enjoy guitaring, enjoy guitaring, enjoy. It's a real source of enjoyment. Yeah. Thank you. Bye.